Foster Quarter's work may be more recognizable than his name, but today we'll find out why Hollywood should prepare for a close encounter with this former record company executive turned film director.
I'm so happy to have in studio with me Mr. Foster Quarter. He is a cinematographer, director, writer, and I hear going for Father of the Year. He's doing this great film, Conversations with a Pitbull.
We have this incredible DP working with us, and Foster, though, you know, when the hours get late, with late hours on, you know, independent joints. So as it gets later, Foster's, you know, his breaking point begins to thin, and he cusses everybody out.
Yeah, I was 15 when I forged my birth certificate to get away from the street gang on the south side of Chicago. That's the reason I went to Vietnam. I had more post-traumatic stress from that than I did actually 13 months in Vietnam. You know, Vietnam was a piece of cake compared to that.
It's my belief that if the kids growing up in the inner cities only see the older adults fighting dogs, harming dogs, kicking cats, setting cats on fire, it is not a far leap for you to later on in life stick a gun out of a window of a car and do a drive-by, because your sense of humanity, your respect for life has been degraded.
The opportunity for Conan came up, and I ended up doing the deal for Conan. We went to Mexico. I designed the weapon that he has in the movie. It's called a bombada stick. Richard Fleischer, the director, showed it to him. He loved it. So it was on, you know, and so they made a couple of them, and that ended up being a weapon that Arnold and Wilt fought with, and Wilt used in the movie. It's a pipe with fur around it, and it's an axe blade turned up upside down on one end, and a bunch of spikes on the other end. Because when we got to Mexico City, Churubusco Studios, they said, you know, in the script, he was going to fight Arnold, and we went to the props guy, and the guy gave him this sword. And the sword was a skinny little sword that was curved, you know, like from Aladdin or something, you know. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, you can't fight Conan with that. I did a documentary called The Amazing Feats of Wilt Chamberlain with one of Wilt's basketball friends from Oregon, and we stayed friends for 17 years until the day he died.
Mind being a friend and showing a little bit of flavor. But Wednesday, Bugsley, Gomez, Festa, man, them some strange neighbors. They do what they wanna do, say what they wanna say, live how they wanna live, play how they wanna play, dance how they wanna dance, thinking they stop a friend.
But Foster's a great DP, but he gonna cuss your ass out.
I'm a pit bull, a big brown red-nosed pit bull, a tooth-bearing, muscle-bound pit bull. I look like I could tear the steel off a locomotive freight train.
Conversations with a Pitbull. My name's Brett Hunt, two-time LA Comedy Award winner, and we're about ready to hit Bollywood Boulevard. Check it out. Talk to some folks about pit bulls, dog breeds, and see what all the dog owners here in Hollywood have to say about that. And we're here with
David.
David. Where are you from, David?
Israel.
You live here in Hollywood?
Yes, I do.
Minnesota. St. Louis. France.
France.
Colorado Springs, actually. I own a pit bull. He's a year old, and he's wonderful. I love him.
Gil, you're on Conversations with a Pitbull. This is a cool live television show. It's really fun. Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Fresno, they have the?
Fresno Pitbull Rescue.
Yes, there you go. Go by and see him and say hey. What do you think of shock collars?
No.
Are you guys familiar with BSL? That's called breed-specific legislation. Basically what is going on is a piece of legislation that's targeting specific breeds of animals. Specifically, at this point, they're targeting pit bulls. What do you think of that?
It's the owners that are the issue, not the pit bulls.
Today's National Puppy Mill Awareness Day!
All right, hey, so we're done in Chicago.
We are in Indiana
out here at the Porter County Animal Shelter. Yeah, representing. You know, we're going to go inside and talk with Katie and our buddy John to see exactly what it is that they do out here.
We might let Danny talk with him, man, because, you know, me and animal shelters, I can't take it. I start crying. And shit.
Hey, what's really cool is this is one of the few no-kill shelters in Indiana.
That's true. That's
so
true.
We're going to go see what the business is. Come on.
No kill.
We're going to sneak in on John Thomas. He's the director of the facility here. Scary that the adoption rates are so low in 2013. It's scary that spade and neutering aren't common. It's scary that spade and neutering aren't free. It's scary that 4.5 million dog bites will happen this year, and nobody is moving towards a change for that, affecting that, because that's a health thing, and I think the nation should be addressing it. It's scary that in 2013, puppy mills are still allowed. That's scary. It's scary that animal abuse is not taken more seriously. It's scary that people will listen to this and will not send emails to their friends to tell them to watch our show. Okay?
When I say I don't want America to raise another 50,000 Michael Vicks, is no one can deny that dog fighting and overbreeding are major issues inside the African American and Latino communities. I haven't seen anyone of African American or Latino descent come to the forefront and address these issues and take them on and want to cause change. I'm African American and I've lived in the African American community, and I recognize what's going on inside the urban areas of America. And if we don't do something, if no one addresses the problem, if no one takes the stand of the cultural issues, which is part of the problem, it's a cultural education. How do you educate people differently? Because everyone hears and gets messages differently. Then we will raise another 50,000 Michael Vicks, hands down. The biggest problem right now, the number one, if we wanted to change the world, is education of the average person about spade and neutering. You know, I can't tell you how important spade and neutering of your animals are, because that's the real problem. It's just too many damn dogs.
We all know about Michael Vick.
Right.
We all know what he did.
Right.
And a lot of people say it wasn't his fault. He grew up in that environment, and that's what he knew. He didn't know better.
Right.
How are you changing this view?
Well, my film is an attempt to educate people, not just kids, but adults mainly. You know, a lot of people call the script that they've read Crash for Dogs, because it's several different stories with a intertwining theme that all bring us all to the same point. And on the Michael Vick issue, you know, it was his fault. I mean,
yes.
It was his fault. Let's get straight with that.
Right.
At the same time, though, he was a victim, you know, just like the dogs were a victim, because no one ever taught him the proper way to treat an animal. He was brought up in an environment, like a lot of people still today around the world, calling it a sport.
Right.
And Pitbull fighting, cockfighting, any kind of violence, fighting of animals or people is not a sport. Well,
But shout out to our viewers out in South Africa and everybody around the world tuning in.
Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Portugal, and Africa.
So it's going to be an awesome show. We're going to take a quick break to pay some bills, and we'll be right back. And oh, wow.
And we'll be bringing on other shows. Look at that. I know you love me. You love me. I feel like Sally Fields, man. Listen.
If you guys want to get involved in Dogs Without Borders, here's what you can do.
Yes, we've got our friend Nicole, who's down in Germany.
Oh yeah.
They've got the Soca walk out there, and then we've also
Soca run.
The Soca run. I'm sorry.
That's right. But you could, I know.
Hey, some people
of us walk and some of us
we got
run.
a couple extra pounds on us. It's the Soca walk. You know what I'm saying? And then
good and the bad that you see happening there in your community.
Well, it's the same thing that you see everywhere. You've got people stealing dogs for bait dogs. You've got Pitbull fighting rings all over the place. there was that.
Well, you know what? I think it's buying dogs from pet stores, you know, it's not going to solve the problem.
It's creating problems.
It's actually increasing the problem.
Yeah.
I've watched things in the human-animal interaction remain the same for years. Nothing has changed. Abusers, breeders, dog fighters maim and torture creatures who can't protect themselves. 1 month ago, I picked 3 of the worst animal abuse cases that I could find. I used these people to test my theory. What if the abusers got treated like dogs, like the dogs they tortured? So I kidnapped Stephen Gregory, Patty Peters, and Corey King. Patty Peters, one of my favorites. Patty was traveling with her 18 animals from her summer home in Maine to Virginia in a van. She alleged she made multiple stops along the way. Peters testified on July 4th. She discovered one of her dogs had collapsed in the van from heat stroke. A former employee of the Dewdrop Inn testified about what he saw.
I saw that woman. She dragged that dog from the van into the room.
What happened if you take it off?
Then I went to check it out. I was like really overwhelmed by the horrible stench, and the urine and the feces that were in the van.
I gave Patty a new room to try.
Today, I have 2 shows on the web. We're seen in 71 countries. Foster's Animal World TV is my YouTube channel. And I have Foster's Animal World TV on Tuesday. It's a 4-hour show about all kinds of animals around the world. And I Skype people in from around the world. And we have in-studio guests and different things. And I have conversations with the Pitbull, which is a show to educate people about pit bulls and change the public perception of them. Remember I said that first camera that I got? Well, the first pictures that I took were of dogs, of my dog Rex back in 1965, 67, something like that. And it all came full circle. You know, when I did Foster's pet and animal photography in Chicago.